What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Today's topic is brought to us by a good friend of the show, Jamelin Parks. Jamelin was like, Jeffrey, everybody knows you're a big G.I. Joe fan. Peep the shirt. And you love G.I. Joe Classified series. It's my favorite line. Marvel Legends is coming for the crown, but still, right now, the man is G.I. Joe Classified series. So Jamelin was like, hey, what are your favorite Joe sub teams? There are a ton of them. This was something that kind of started in the back end of the line. And I guess it started off in 87. And then that continued on through about 93, right when the original Real American Hero brand was done, tapped out. And now we got this major revitalization with Classified series. And of course, that started going, well, which of these sub teams do I want to see completed in the Classified series line? Because that's clearly first and foremost any list I do involving G.I. Joe. So, yeah, I was thinking, clearly Tiger Force is not my favorite. I never, even as a little kid, grasped the concept of let's paint everything, all our vehicles, our captured Cobra vehicles with tiger stripe colors, tiger style. Did not understand it. Then I also didn't get with Night Force. Like, okay, every Joe except for maybe Blowtorch and Airtight could be a Night Joe. And how do you have a night focused squad and don't have Snake Eyes in it? The dude is literally in all black. He seems the most ideal candidate to be a member of your Night Force team. And I know we've got G.I. Joe where we've got snake monsters, we've got winged bat creatures, but somehow a ninja who's all dressed in black, not being part of a Night Force squad was too much for me. That was the point of, wait, let's bring some realism into this thing here. So, yeah, I don't have any Night Force or any Tiger Force members as my favorites. Of course, as the line continues to progress, I'm starting to get Night Force members, more so by accident than in any intent. So I've got Shooter, I've got Big Ben, no Tiger Force members so far, and that's still going to be the case. But there was another one that I was like, absolutely not. I'm not getting any Python Patrol members. Cue my Python Patrol collection. It's ridiculous. I have the Crimson Guard. I just haven't opened them. I have the Cobra Officer. Still haven't opened that one yet. And there's no chance I'm getting Copperhead. That's my, no, I'm not getting him. But I was totally not getting Python Patrol. And you see the collection is incredibly massive for a line, a subset that I had no intention of buying. And there are plenty of sub teams to knock out and tackle. So let's start off. Let's go with 1987, the very first. These are not going to be in any particular order. So if you're like, wait, this one came in 91, not 93. So why are you doing the 93 team before? Don't worry about that. I'm covering the ones that I kind of want to mention. There might be a few omissions, so forgive me in advance if you're a fan of some of these ones I leave out, aka Sonic Fighters. All right, so the first one that I absolutely need to tackle and touch on, Sergeant Slaughter's Renegades, Mercer, Red Dog, Taurus. I understand it's Taurus here, then Red Dog, but that's my order of popularity with these guys. And this is not one of these cases where I'm going to choose one, but the rest of these I'm going to go, this is the figure I want to see first. But I'm not breaking up the Renegades, much like the Dreadnoks. They're a package deal. Give me these original 3 Renegades, maybe a 3-pack. I'll call it a day. We'll be all happy. It's kind of like that weird thing where we got Buzzer, we got Ripper, then we had to wait for Torch. Still waiting for Torch, like Jodeci. And I want all 3 of these guys. I want Mercer, I want Taurus, I want Red Dog all at once. I thought these guys had awesome costume designs, and they just look a little bit rougher, a little bit different than the Joes. And I love the fact that they're basically the G.I. Joe A team, where, hey, you guys get caught, well, it's on you. And, Sergeant Slaughter's like, do your thing, don't get caught. And I love that. And just the fact that these 3 guys can go and do their own mission. They're on their own, kind of striking out, doing whatever needs to be done to stop Cobra. Wow, that's crazy. How about no water? To stop Cobra. Love that. So all 3 of the Renegades, no debating, no favorites on that team. Just get all of them. Let's make it happen ASAP. Let's do the thing. Next up is a team that's kind of gets interesting. This one is Battleforce 2000. And lots of team members here. So we got Avalanche, we got Blaster, Blocker, Dodger, DJ, Maverick, and Knockdown. And I think these designs are pretty good, really solid work. The gimmick here with Battle Force 2000, they were all drivers with the exception of DJ. So they had these vehicles that were part of the fun too. So you didn't just get a Battle Force 2000 character, you also got these massive vehicles that combine. So it was a vehicle combiner. Shout out to Transformers to make the future fortress. You have the Eliminator Jeep, the Vindicator hovercraft, the Marauder motorcycle tank, the Sky Sweeper, the Sky Sweeper anti-aircraft tank, and the Vector jet. I had a lot of these vehicles. I just thought Battle Force 2000 was a really fun idea, a really fun concept. And there's designs, like I said before, really fun and really cool. I love them. Larry Hama didn't. He wiped those guys out in like one issue, and like there was one survivor, but they were really fun. And I would love to see them figure that out. Maybe they do Battle Force 2000 like a HasLab and create some of the different vehicles as tiers. I don't quite know if that would work well, because if they didn't get all the way, then we'd be like, hey, we don't have this full future fortress. But anyway, I would love to see those guys all represented. But if I'm choosing one, I'm going to do the chump cheap way here, and I'm going to go with DJ because I love his background. His file card is just hilarious. DJ was the baddest, hottest disc jockey in Boston before he signed up for the Battle Force 2000 team. Complicated sound equipment was no problem for him. If it's loaded with transistors, portable, and transmits or receives radio waves, DJ can make it work, fix it, and coax strange sounds out of it with an infectious beat. Man, that is awesome. What a cool background. His costume is kind of wild. I think in this case, we're starting to see with the designs of the figures not quite matching the really cool file art. I think in this case with Battle Force 2000, DJ's costume would look better than the real American Hero version. Probably make this helmet removable, do the visors like how it is here and not like sunglasses. But I think it'd be a really fun figure to see. And of course, we're starting to get more in the futuristic um, arsenal. The guns starting to look more like laser blasters instead of straight up pistols. Got this shorts. I mean, his design is wild. He's got shorts, and then he's got these ribbed leggings, and then kind of moon boots. Wild design. I like to see DJ as a figure just because he looks cool, and I love the fact that he's out there playing, music while he's out there doing battle, keeping the Joes entertained, rocking the party for the team when they're done fighting Cobra. Next up, the Mega Marines. Now, the Mega Marines were a wild kind of Starship Trooper deal. I got into a momentary lapse of good sense, and I was like, I'm too old, I'm too mature for G.I. Joe. So I had given away, sold most of my original Real American Hero figures. But then I was like, wait, I want these figures in a collection. I want a whole room of action figures, and I want, of course, G.I. Joe represented. So then I started going back and buying figures. And at that point in time, it's just Battle Corps and all these new wild Joes with guns this big that they couldn't possibly hold. But I was like, all right, I'm going to get my favorites and this new style. So Mega Marines was one of the first ones. So I got two of them just because I love those characters. So let's break them down to Mega Marines and then let's go through their whole deal. The specialized team was formed for one specific mission: to repel and destroy Cobra's mega monsters. You're the mega monsters, the Bio Viper, the Monster Viper. I told you this is when everything is fair game for G.I. Joe. All concepts are on the table. We can make it all happen. These biotech fighters also battle new Cobra Vipers and feature moldable bio armor, breakthrough, and biomechanical armament. The bug hunt is on. I mean, clearly, there's your Starship Troopers set up right here. So we've got the Cobra Mega Monsters. I would buy them just because I'm nuts, and I think they'd be really fun to incorporate into G.I. Joe. I want the Monster Blaster APC. Hasbro releases later on for a Cobra vehicle, which I'm blanking on. This was re-released in the 25th anniversary line. and just done as a Cobra vehicle, but I like the Monster Blaster APC concept. That's fun. The Joes and the Mega Marines are gung ho. He's number one. All of them have numbers. So just to make things simple and easy for you, gung ho's the leader of the squad. Number two is Blast Off. Number three is Clutch, one of my favorites. He's the driver of the Monster Blaster APC, and then Mirage. And then the Cobras, Cobra Mega Viper, Cobra Cyber Viper. I want all six of these guys and the two Mega Monsters. But if I'm choosing one, and this is kind of going to be a little bit against the grain because I'm sure you're thinking, hey, he's going to say Clutch. He's going to say Gung Ho. No, I love those original costumes for those guys. So in this case, I'm going to go with the newer Joe who didn't have another version beforehand. I'm going with Mirage. Mirage's color scheme is wild. I think it's the headband that just is like, yes, you. I mean, it's so 90s, late 80s, totally Rambo going here. He's got the visor. I mean, his outfit's pretty cool and no shorts for him, but his design's cool. And his whole stick is he was trained by Roadblock. Shout out to 3D Joes from these pictures, by the way. Bazookas are okay, but I'll take a shoulder mounted rocket launcher any day. So he was trained by Roadblock, who taught him how to lay down heavy cover fire and launch shoulder mounted rockets while under an enemy attack. I feel like maybe Bazooka might be the one that should have trained him since maybe him or Zap, instead of Roadblock, who carries a big Mongoose, but not quite a shoulder mounted rocket launcher. That's nuts. And these guys, the whole deal with them is you see this big Play-Doh deal. You can make the battle armor moldable. So here you go. You throw this in here, and he's got a little armor piece that you can put on. It's a wild concept. I don't need the Play-Doh for Mirage, but I just like his color scheme, and I think he's fun. Peep that unlike McFarlane toys, we actually have translucent visors, even in this scale. So the classified series scene would knock that out. And yeah, I definitely want to see the Mega Marine, Mega Monsters, the Mega Vipers, all of them done. I just thought it was such a wild and fun concept. Starship Troopers meets G.I. Joe, that I would be all on board getting them. That's not the case with some of these other sub teams and different universe setups we've got for G.I. Joe, but definitely for this one. Now, another one that I am kind of invested in seeing the whole squad, the whole sub team, sub universe played out in full is the D.E.F era, the Drug Elimination Force. This is when G.I. Joe decided, hey, we need to teach kids some great lessons, including drugs are bad for you. So a nice noble concept, but this time we're getting away from Cobra. It's a 4-man squad to start off, and they're fighting against Headmaster and his crew of headhunters. And I like their design. It's actually pretty cool. It's just a fun concept. And this is a time where Shockwave gets a redone costume makeover that makes sense for him. Mutt and Junkyard have a really cool new costume color scheme that I like. Cutter has an outfit that's not too major departure from his original look, and they're led by a new Joe, Bulletproof. And I just thought it was a fun idea. Sure, drugs are bad, okay? And this was fun to see this 4-member squad. They add 2 more later on into it, but we'll focus on these 4 right now. And like I said, I got suckered all into this Battle Core era of G.I. Joe, so I have more of a soft spot than I would and I should based on these ridiculous weapons they have. But my choice for this one, Bulletproof. Shocker. He's a new Joe, and I just love his whole deal. He's the D.E.F leader. He's got a big super electronic battle flash missile launcher. That seems impossible to walk around and carry, but he's got a cool regular gun. And I would love to get Headman, to get Headman, to get the Headhunters later on. And this is an easy team to complete and wrap up. Now, they had 2 more Joes, Mace and Law, that they were going to include in this, but they decided, let's not do any more D.E.F. We don't care about drugs being eliminated anymore. But so these are the main ones. We got these 6. I will totally be down for them. Let's make that happen. So yeah, I would be all about this. And Bulletproof is fun. His outfit is not too complex, not too complicated, and it's easily done. See, check out his head sculpt and all this good stuff. Look at this ridiculous ridiculous. I mean, how is he walking? He would have a hernia. He'd be in the medic bay with Doc every week after every operation trying to lug that sucker around. And good luck trying to put that in the APC. But anyway, check the head sculpt. I think that's cool. I love his submachine gun. It's a fully automatic GP88 field rifle. Love 3D Joe's breaking all this stuff down. But yeah, and removable helmet, of course, so we can see that lovely 90s fade. But yeah, bring Bulletproof. Let's get him in first. D.E.F is an easy squad to complete. Like the Mega Marines, there's only 4 members, so that can get done quickly. And it brings back popular characters like Cutter and Mutton Junkyard, give him a new look. Shockwave has a different outfit. You can call him something else. I don't mind Shockwave's classified series original look, but yeah, maybe they can make that version of Shockwave an army builder. There's a way they can go with that. So then we go on to 91, and this is a ridiculous one that was on that terrible DIC second season cartoon. So I have the opposite of a soft spot for them. I have a cold, hard heart when it comes to the Echo Warriors. And the concept, much like the D.E.F, was solid. Let's protect the ozone, and the forces of nature are under attack from Cobra, and only G.I. Joe can stop them. Solid idea. Utilizing the most dangerous liquid toxins known to mankind, Cobra launches its most diabolical bid to contaminate the planet's fragile ecosystem and bring civilization to its knees. Armed with a sophisticated anti-tox water solution that changes the figure's color on contact, and outfitted with special echo suits that detect environmental contaminants, G.I. Joe moves out to clean up Cobra's act once and for all. Even now, the fate of the Earth hangs in the balance. I mean, that's fun. And this is 6 members. We get 2 more Joes on this one to actually get released. So to start off, we've got Flint, my man. You all know my favorite Joe. Clean sweep, Ozone, and they're battling Cesspool, a Cobra villain I have a soft spot for, even though this concept is kind of weird. Sludge Viper, Toxo Viper. I think these would make for fun figures. I think the Toxo Viper has been mentioned. Maybe do not leave the figure in sunlight. So you can tell they've got the color change feature. Maybe they'd actually do this. I mean, they already have incorporated that with Zartan, so maybe that's not too crazy to suggest they do that. So there's Echo Warrior Flint. That's what he looks like. But I hate this costume for Flint, so he's not my Joe of choice for this one. And let me show you the other Joes real fast in this concept before I break down my choice for this one. So we have the original wave, clean sweep, Flint, Ozone, pretty decent costumes, I'd say. Barbecue, and he's got a fun look. Deep Six comes with a pet dolphin, so we continue to expand our army of animals in the line. But these are pretty fun. The costumes, I think, would look better in classified series as opposed to the original, Real American Heroes setup. Like Flint's design, you can see there's some potential there. I don't know. See, I feel like when they would put these out in classified series, I'd buy them. I'm not running to grab them based on these looks. These photos are courtesy of yojo.com. Just making sure I give proper credit, as you should do as a YouTuber out there. And so for this one, my choice for Joe's to get done, because I think he has the coolest color scheme and outfit of this group, it's Ozone. Congratulations. This is my choice to get done first. Ozone, I love the grenades here. He's ready for action. Let's read his file card. Ozone is Echo Warrior specialist in atmosphere's dispersal toxins and is equipped with a multi-purpose backpack capable of neutralizing various forms of airborne sludge and other harmful chemicals while replenishing the ozone layer, fittingly enough, around the Earth's atmosphere. The backpack has built-in sensors, an analysis suite, and an advanced chemical countermeasure computer, all of which are accessible by voice command through Ozone's wide-angle holographic heads-up display helmet faceplate. It's kind of fun. Like I said, I'm kind of hating on this, but as I'm looking at it now, maybe I would buy all of these too. Pretty simple squad to get done. So maybe back in the day, I hated Echo Warriors probably because I didn't like Flint's design, but I might get into this, especially given the amount of detail, the cool implementation of these weapons that the classified series team would do. So yeah, I think I'm more on board with that concept here. And next up is probably the most controversial to me because I feel like when they got introduced into the book, the comic book went super heavy, leaned way too hard into these characters to the point I was like, okay, we get it, we get it. They're awesome, they're amazing. It's Ninja Force time. And yeah, we've already gotten one of Ninja Force. Got Nunchuck. That's cool. We sort of kind of got Storm Shadow, but let's roll through the whole squad. It's Dojo, Nunchuck, Storm Shadow, Bang, Bonsai. Yokozuna would say Bushido, Scarlet in a really cool new outfit for her, Snake Eyes, and Shizingzu. Gosh, I feel like I butchered that name. He's the driver of the Ninja Force weapon or vehicle. It's kind of weird because ninjas probably don't need to have a vehicle run around, but whatever. Again, logic and G.I. Joe need not apply here. And I think they're really colorful. The designs on the Ninja Force are great. Storm Shadows was really cool. Dojo also had a cool design. He was a motor mouth. He's got a little ponytail action. That was cool. And his Ninja Turtle mask, I thought made him look really cool. I think this whole squad of Ninja Force, they went with the most boring one first, a Nunchuck. Nunchuck's cool, but wow, the designs on the rest of them are so much cooler and more interesting. And he's just like a basic dude in camo. Shebang has a really cool look too. He takes a vow of silence. Bonsai, I think, is really cool. He's got the splatter pink effect on his pants. Bushido looks cool as well. Like I've already said, I think Scarlet's outfit here made a lot of sense for her Ninja Force look. And Snake Eyes, you can never have but so many Snake Eyes figures. And I like the blue accents in this design. So, yeah, my only beef with Ninja Force was, do we need 18 ninjas when you've got Snake Eyes? You've got Storm Shadow. How many more of these guys do we need in the mix? But that doesn't mean I wouldn't take these figures. I eventually am going to get Nunchuck. I still haven't gotten him yet, but I do want to add him to my squad just because of, completionist sake for new and different characters. My choice, though, for Ninja Force figure I want to see next, Shebang. I just like this outfit, the tiger style striping of the mask, his padded, I guess it's just a basic chest pad, but that looks really cool. And you can see it's got the harness piece going there. He's got some gauntlets. He's got some really cool swords. And, back then they were just, hey, here's one color. Here you go. No detail, but, they would do that big time with the classified series. His shin pads, his shin guards look cool. I mean, his whole deal is like, all right, this guy's a ninja. So I would love to see him as a figure. I think his whole deal would look really great. I like Dojo next, then Bonsai. I'd take Scarlet when it's time for them to refresh and get Scarlet back into the line. I would not be opposed to getting that as a classified series figure. There's some other female characters, some newer ones that I would love to see before we get to Ninja Force Scarlet. But I do want to see that costume eventually in the classified series line. Next up is probably the most divisive. I don't know if I want any of these figures, but just for the sake of a few laughs, I thought it'd be fun to bring these up. It's a Street Fighter 2 series. And wow, I mean, they did incorporate the Street Fighter designs, but made them G.I. Joe worthy too. So you can check out Chun-Li's outfit. I mean, they actually put a little work. They did the file cards and gave us a complete collection of the World Warriors. So we've got Ryu, Ken Masters, Guile, Chun-Li, Blanca, M. Bison, E. Honda. He's Edmund Honda here. Dalsim, Zangief, Vega, Balrog, and Sagat. They've got vehicles. They've got a play set. I mean, they put in some serious work for these figures. E. Honda's actually bigger. That was kind of cool. So maybe E. Honda would be the one I would choose just because, hey, I should choose one of these figures. I don't necessarily know if I need a collection of Street Fighter figures in my G.I. Joe line, but the fact that they did them is kind of fun. So if they were so inclined to give us these guys, yeah, I could see doing this. And here's E Honda because I wanted you all to see it was actually done with some effort. I mean, they created a whole new mold for this guy, and that's wild. I mean, he's got some weapons here too. I mean, the amount of work they put into this line is kind of wild when you think about it. It wasn't just some, all right, well, what what parts can we reuse for these guys? Granted, they did for some, but the fact that they created an entirely different mold for Edmund Honda is pretty impressive. So their Street Fighter 2 on the home stretch now of all these sub teams, and it's just crazy that they've included so many. So let's go to one that I was not necessarily into at the time. I guess I missed out when these guys arrived. Again, part of the DIC era of cartoons, so I had no real incentives to want to get these back in the day. But it's Sky Patrol. They're next up here. Command of the air is crucial in determining the outcome of a battle. Sky Patrol, G.I. Joe's elite six-man airborne unit, uses advanced stealth technology and sophisticated laser weaponry to clear the sky of Cobra aerial assault crafts. Now, you'll note they're all in parachutes, so a really good Cobra sniper could probably take all of the Sky Patrol out. And I think that's probably why I was like, maybe not with these guys. So we've got Skydive, the leader of the team, Drop Zone, Static Line, Airwave, Altitude, and Airborne. Airborne is not Franklin Talltree. This is a totally different character, which is just odd and really weird. Here we go. Robert 6, Watcher 6 is not our classic Airborne. I feel like maybe they forgot they called the Joe Airborne before, but that's really weird. He's the combat medic. It's just really weird. So I don't know why they couldn't come up with another aerial name, but he's not the real Airborne. So this is what they look like. Their costumes are kind of weird. The designs, the color schemes are wacky. Not really loving how they turned out. Now it came for me with this one, like, all right, which two? And I'm not getting Airborne simply because I already got one. Skydive and Static Line. So which one of these two would I go with? And I feel like just for the sake of keeping the Joe line a little bit more diversity, and because his scheme, his whole specialty is unique among the team, I went with Static Line. And Static Line with the silver and blue, I think really looks clean, and that's why I went with him. Also, another Black Joe to add to the mix. So let's break down his thing. He's from Chicago. He's a Second City Saint. The common perception of a demolitions expert is a guy who blows things up. Static Line does the opposite. He prevents things from destruction by diffusing them or rendering them inert. This is an extremely valuable skill if your unit conducts strikes behind enemy lines that are probably mined and booby-trapped with high impact, motion sensitive firing devices. So he's basically the Sky Patrol's tripwire. And that's kind of neat. And I love this packaging where they're all jumping out of the airplane. That's fun. And it's kind of cool. I like the silver. I think it really pops on him. And I think he'd make for a really fun looking figure. The parachute is big and garish. I don't know what all that is. The deal is just these accessories go wild. This is his gun harness. So it's so much. And not a jetpack, just a parachute. So I don't know how they would implement this in figure form. Maybe they made the parachute smaller, and I think that would help a lot. But Static Line does have a cool look. And if we're going to go into Sky Patrol, he's my choice. He's the one I'd like to see. And, probably a lot of us didn't remember these later era Joes of color, and Static Line that has a cool look to him. So let's get him in there. And then let's go. I think this is my last one, number 9. I didn't want to go to 10 this time of Joe sub teams. It is the Star Brigade. Now, this is when G.I. Joe was really reaching the end. Like the comic book was almost done. G.I. Joe in space. And this was, the Joes are fighting Cobra on the moon. It's pushing it in terms of quality storytelling. Larry Hama was like, what do you want me to do with this? And, it's just a battle in space. It's okay. Star Brigade has a good mix of Joes and Cobras. We got the Astro Viper, the Cobra Bat, Destro. Let's see what other Cobras do we have in this mix. And Target, I believe, is also a Cobra. So the Joes are pretty well represented. We got Countdown. We've got Duke, of course. General Hawk is in this thing too. So we got a huge chain of command issue. Heavy Duty, Ozone, he gets a repaint later on. Payload. So if you got your Defiant, there you go. Roadblock again. Robo Joe, Rock and Roll, Sci-Fi. Let me just go to Target real fast just to make sure, because I feel like he's a villain, but I just want to make sure. Yes, he is part of Cobra the Enemy. So It's a really weird mix of characters. They've got these big blocky outfits and, because they're in space, so they've gotta have some protection or the other, and it just is a really funky setup. It's not my favorite of all these sub teams of GI Joe, but if I gotta go with one, it is the one that I actually wanted a figure, that I actually bought the figure of, and I have way more Star Brigade than I care to admit. But I want Robo Joe added to the series. So you can see here's a better look of the team. We got Robo Joe, we got Duke, Rock and Roll, Heavy Duty. I like Heavy Duty's helmet. That's pretty cool. Destro and the Cobra Bat. And then you can see the play sets. They've got Star Brigade, Star spaceships. And I mean, we got all kinds of stuff here. We got a big armor bot. I think that was the Joes or the Cobras. It's the Joes because Hawk comes with it. So they just went all out with his Star Brigade, the armor tech deal. It was a wild time. He's the jet tech operations expert. I am stronger, I am faster. I am Robo Joe. Now, Robo Joe has a really cool backstory. Greg Scott, a scientific engineering genius, was working in his laboratory one night on top secret plans for robotic battle armor suits needed to fight Cobra in space. Suddenly, the lab was raided by Destro, who managed to capture some of the plans and fatally wound the young inventor, leaving him a shattered shell of a man. Here's our Robo Joe. G.I. Joe scientists used the remaining plans to rebuild his broken body, and Robo Joe was born with a permanently integrated bio armor spacesuit linked with silicon wires, computer chips, and muscle tissue. Now, this powerful half man, half robot fights alongside his Star Brigade teammates, seeking justice and revenge on Destro. He doesn't design robotic battle armor anymore. He is it. I don't know. I think that's just fun. We literally have our RoboCop GI Joe. He's got beef with Destro for a reason. I mean, with the half metallic helmet, he does kind of look like a cool counterpart for Destro. And I think the GI Joe classified team would have a ton of fun putting him into the line and maybe streamlining that suit a little bit. But yeah, he's a fun character, and I'd like to see him into the classified series line. So, Jalen, to answer your question, I've broken all these sub teams down. Let me see which ones do I want to see get done first. Let's go with the D.E.F. I think they'd be easy. I like those designs, and it's 6. And then you can army build the headhunters. And then let's see, Mega Marines. I just love the concept. Those outfits are wild, but I really like that whole idea of the Joes going off and fighting Dr. Mindbenders, bioengineered mega monsters. That's wild. I mean, that is really pushing the limits of our military force, fighting the evil terrorist organization, determined to rule the world. But I think it's fun. So let's go with them. Next up, Battleforce 2000. Of course, in this whole order of things, the Renegades are number 1 because there's 3 of them. Let's get them done. I didn't mention Cobra Law. They've already started. Nemesis Immortal's coming. So Globulus is clearly in the works, on the way. And the Royal Guard has to be coming too. Maybe Pythona eventually. But yeah. Then where do I want to go with where I want to see completed? Battleforce 2000. The rest of them, I can take or leave. But yeah, that's the ones. Those are my favorites. So once I get done with Tiger Force, Night Force, and Python Patrol, even though I was never collecting Python Patrol, those are the ones I want to see them tackle next. Let me know what you guys like on this. Which sub team is your favorite? What do you have like this irrational attachment to that you just want to see them make figures for, even though they make no sense? And a lot of these sub teams are just wild and crazy. Different ways to keep the line going. Which ones do you want to see? As always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. This episode of the House Figure Files has been filed.